Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And so I thought it was about time for an update on Candace Owens because people seem to think that the lawsuit that was filed against her by the First Lady of France has gone away, but it has not. And now we're seeing that the First Lady of France is a persistent woman. She's not backing down. So that lawsuit is ongoing. So, what's actually going on with the Bridget Macron versus Candace Owens lawsuit? People keep asking whether the First Lady of France dropped her lawsuit against Candace Owens. So I went to look at the actual reporting, not the rumors, not the timelines, not the comment section theories, the actual reporting. What seems to be happening with this lawsuit is that supporters of Candace Owens want the public to think that the lawsuit has vanished. So one person will post a claim, it'll get clipped, reposted, and suddenly people think that a major international lawsuit just vanished into thin air. But based on the latest reporting available, there is no credible evidence that the lawsuit has been dropped. The case was filed in Delaware in 2025, and all public information still describes it as ongoing. So it's ongoing. She made a claim against somebody that people asked her to stop saying, and she went on, and instead of leaving it alone, she doubled down on it again and again and again until the First Lady of France, I guess, decided she wasn't going to take anymore. So she filed a lawsuit against her. It's possible that people thought the lawsuit had been dropped because international lawsuits move slowly. And it is my understanding that Mrs. Macron has hired an investigator to look into Candace Owens' life. So that means they're going to check into her life from birth. That takes a while. So this lawsuit is not moving fast because it is an international lawsuit. And I think that the Macrons have decided they're going to dot all of the I's and cross all of the T's. So when they come to court, they're going to be ready. Social media likes for things to happen in a hurry. So since the lawsuit hasn't happened, they haven't gone to court, and a verdict hasn't been given, it's easy to think that the lawsuit is over, that it's been dropped. But it is very much ongoing. Now here's the interesting part for me. Why did Candace Owens stop talking about Brigitte Macron? She was on a tear one time. Every day she was talking about this woman, and she had all of her investigative information, and she was just talking about Bridget Macron, and she kept repeating an unverified claim, and y'all know what it is. And now she has stopped talking about it. She's gone on to something about Charlie Kirk and somebody or something else, but she's not talking about Brigitte Macron. Now, to understand why the conversation stopped, we have to start with how it began. Candace Owens released an 8-part series where she repeated claims about France's First Lady, Brigitte Macron. The Macrons denied those claims, asked for retractions multiple times, and eventually filed a defamation lawsuit in Delaware in 2025. That's the foundation. That's the documented part. Everything else builds from there. And at the height of that moment, Candace said she would continue talking about the topic. She said she wouldn't retract. She said she wouldn't be pressured. But then the commentary stopped. So what happened? According to multiple news reports, Candace Owens said she was contacted by people in high-level political circles who asked her to stop discussing the topic. She even said that Donald Trump personally called her and told her the issue had come up in diplomatic conversations in France. In her own retelling, she said someone high up in the White House reached out. She initially refused. Then Trump called her directly. So the second factor is the lawsuit. Once a defamation lawsuit is filed, most public figures stop making new statements about the subject, not because they're admitting anything, but because anything they say can be used in court. Lawyers usually advise, don't repeat the claims, don't expand on the claims, don't comment on the claims, don't escalate the situation. And continuing to talk about the topic could increase legal exposure or damages. Based on the reporting available, there's no evidence she continued making new claims after the lawsuit was filed. So now there are two forces at play: political pressure and legal pressure. Both of those can change somebody's public strategy very quickly. And the point is, it shouldn't have taken that. It shouldn't have taken the President of the United States calling you and asking you to stop making unverified claims against the wife of a president of a country that's an ally of the United States. It shouldn't have taken that. So when you look at the timeline, the pattern is clear. She made the original statements. She said she was asked by political figures to stop. A lawsuit was filed. And after that, there's no documented continuation of the storyline. There are no new episodes, no new allegations, no new commentary, no new series. Everything that exists in the public record is from the earlier period, not recent months. So the idea that she kept going isn't supported by the reporting, even though that's what she said she was going to do. So why did Candace Owens stop talking about Mrs. Macron? Well, first of all, she was asked by high-level political figures to stop. Donald Trump personally called her and told her to stop, and she still didn't stop, so a lawsuit was filed. After that, there's no evidence she continued the storyline. Because when somebody files a lawsuit against you, a defamation lawsuit against you, and they win, you have to pay them, and you have to pay their legal fees and cost of court. That's what happened with Megan Thee Stallion a few weeks ago. She filed a defamation lawsuit against somebody, and she won. So that person has to pay her, they have to pay her legal fees, and they have to pay the cost of court. So making a claim against somebody like the First Lady of France, who is not bothering anybody, and you end up losing that lawsuit, you can lose what money you're making on YouTube every day plus some. So that's why she stopped. Strategically, this was one of the most self-sabotaging choices Candace Owens could have made. Of all the people to pick a fight with, the First Lady of France probably shouldn't have been at the top of that list. This was not the masterclass in strategy she thought it was. It really wasn't. So when you're in these YouTube streets, you need to understand the difference between commentary and defamation. Just about anybody would have known not to do what she did with that. I don't know where her head was. This situation shows what happens when online rhetoric collides with real-world institutions. The French government, of which the president and his wife are a part of, is an institution. One person on YouTube in the United States cannot win against an institution in court, or if they can, I want to see it done. In hindsight, this was an incredibly unwise storyline to pursue. legally, politically, and strategically. And I can only hope that Candace Owens will learn something from this adventure or misadventure that she's embarked upon. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about the video. Thank you for listening and have a good evening.